weeks. The latest tough talk from President Trump saying he has authorized U.S. troops to use lethal force if necessary against that group of migrants heading for the border, and that he's even prepared to close the whole border with Mexico if need be.
A first-degree murder charge was filed today in connection with the disappearance of Molly Tibbetts, a Christian Bahina Rivera, age 24, who resides in rural Powashik County, and he has been charged with murder in the first degree. We have confirmed with Homeland Security investigations that he is an illegal alien.
Hello and welcome to the Kill Stream. I'm your host, Ethan Routh, the owner and the editor-in-chief of TheRalphReport.com. It's Monday. We're back. 2 full days off. I don't even know when the last time we had 2 full days off, although I did a 6-hour stream with Coach Red Pill and Mr. Medicare and Josh from Kiwi Farms. Also, this Australian chick, what's her name? I forgot her name, to be honest with you. She was really cool, though. She kind of got scared off when we started talking about whale cum and stuff like that. That kind of got rid of her there. But she was really nice for a little while. It was good to talk to her. I didn't plan on it being a 6-hour marathon. I actually don't think it's fully processed yet. But it was fun. Also, speaking of Coach Red Pill, he confirmed to me he is going to be staying at the Warstream Fight headquarters in Knoxville for the weekend. And we're going to be doing a bunch of cool things there for the Warski Tonka fight. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about that, though, as we move on. It's just me here. Ryan Dawson is in the call. Zidane is in the call. Before I get started, so there was something that came up on the stream last night. Apparently a stream day while we were on the air. That was blamed on me. And if you know me, if you've watched this show, you know that I have never flagged anyone in my life. I said that on Twitter that I did not flag them. There was this conspiracy theory that I did. Well, Stream Me came out today, and they put this out. I just want to get this out, out in front of the show here. The fault lies on us. We saw a rebroadcast of what we thought was IP infringement and removed it. The Ralph Retort didn't direct us to take this stream down. We just thought we were being proactive. Again, this was our fault, and we'll be more cautious going forward. So there is the statement from Stream Me, and I think that pretty much puts it to bed right there. But if anybody wants to talk about it, we can talk about that too. But that's from the company themselves, from their official Twitter. So there it is right there. All right, let's bring in Zidane, Gator, Ryan Dawson. This is his first appearance here on the Kill Stream. I think I would try to get him on the election stream. A couple times we tried to get him on, but this is the first time we've actually got him here. Let me transition. And also, another funny thing, for the first time ever, I'm using scenes to transition because it's a lot easier. Wow, I should have done this like 6 months ago. But anyway, let's do it now. Maybe I should join the call first. Let me turn it down. Join the call. Turn to the call. Turn off the camera. Okay, gentlemen, are you here? Oh wait, I was muted. now you can hear me.
Ralph, you're muted.
All right, so how you guys doing tonight? Ryan Dawson, welcome to the Kill Stream, sir.
Thanks. Were you sitting there talking to yourself? And
no, well, luckily this time I only got one line out instead of my usual, 15 sentences before I figured it out. The stream could still hear me. You guys just couldn't hear me. So
I was gonna tell everyone, like, hey, should we all stop pretending that he's muted?
they do that almost every show already. So, how you been, man? What have you been focusing on lately?
Trust me, I have more tech issues than you. I'm a Gen X boomer, just retard when it comes to streaming.
Well,
I'll tell you something I've noticed though. When I have guests on, like the more like tech issues they have, the better they spurg. Like the more info I get out of them. It seems like the worse they are at technology, the more they know about politics and so on.
now we have some stuff. Let's see. Should we just watch this Brett Favre video right at the top of the show? Do you guys have the link to that?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yes,
Okay.
please, let's do it.
Because there's other stuff, but I kind of feel like we should just start with this. This is feel good. Battle Beagle linked this to me on, was it yesterday or day before? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was over the weekend.
This is Brett Favre, famous NFL Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know that all the
Super
chat
Bowl winner.
has seen. Yeah, Super Bowl winner, MVP, two-time MVP, I believe. Let's go ahead and see what the legend Brett Favre has to say about the USS Liberty.
Brett Favre here with a shout out to the Handsome Truth and the GDL boys. You guys are patriots in my eyes. So keep waking them up and don't let the small get you down. Keep fighting too. And don't ever forget the USS Liberty and the men and women who died on that day. God bless and take care.
No, this is a real clip. That is not a deep fake. That's actually Brett Favre. Now, do we know if he knew what he was saying there? He seemed to know exactly what he was saying.
He seems to also know what would happen after he said it. He knows he's Brett Favre.
You can't fuck with Brett. What do you think about the clips of that? I saw it. I could not stop laughing. I think it was yesterday. I don't know. It was sometime this weekend that I saw it. I just fucking died laughing.
I love everything about it. It's fantastic. I need to play it on fucking ESPN.
It's awesome. It's awesome and it's sad because we all know it kind of takes like a celebrity saying it for the plebs to go, "What? What's that?" I mean, because it'll never be on the news otherwise unless a celebrity says it.
Yeah, that's true. Gator, what were you gonna say, sir?
I was gonna say, it's about fucking time somebody said something. But the sad part is that this is just gonna be memory hold. I don't even think the news is gonna report on, oh my god, I can't believe Brett Favre said that, because then that would acknowledge that the USS Liberty happened.
The gunslinger himself. Now, let's get right. By the way, I should say this too. We had a couple videos on the intro. Both of the second two videos that were spliced together were made by Wild Goose, and he is on an amazing tear as far as video quality. That guy is getting like movie trailer quality level with his shit. He's always been great, but man, that shit was so good. The footage there with the Trump build the wall, it was perfect. All right, now let me switch back over. I'm getting used to this scene thing. I think I like this. Why didn't I do this months ago, gentlemen? What was I thinking?
I tried to explain it to you.
No, you didn't listen. You didn't listen, Ralph. Okay. Mexican. This headline: Mexicans' support for migrant caravan drops sharply. Poll finds the Trump administration does not want the caravan of Central American migrants to enter the U.S., but members of the caravan are also facing a growing backlash in Mexico, according to a new survey. A poll released Sunday by El Universal, one of Mexico's biggest newspapers, found 7 in 10 Mexicans have a negative view about the arrival of migrant families, with more than half, 52%, supporting blocking them from entering the country without legal documents, and 55% supporting tougher measures on future caravans. I think we saw that in Tijuana last week. They're not exactly thrilled to have these people here, are they?
I ran out of popcorn yesterday watching it. Like, that could be a new tourist attraction, just the Americans sitting up on the top of the wall. Like, have a picnic up there, you know?
Sell tickets, but what would we call it, though? We have to have some type of Disneyland.
Bring bags of Doritos just to, like, throw salt in the wounds.
Sell drinks, sit up there. We have to create some type of tourist spectacle. Maybe we could wear sombreros while we sit on top of the border or something like that.
Now you gotta play that song, Living in America. with Jake Brown.
From Rocky.
That's where we're living. How about you?
What about you, Gators? Have you been following this? By the way, we have like a bunch of migrant stories after this, but this is the one I led off with.
Like, you know, the gas chamber's got a window. Like, no, let's see how far we can get him to go. Like,
I think we tried to get him on the election stream. A couple times we tried to get him on, but this is the first time we've actually. Now let me switch back over. I'm getting used to this scene thing. I think I like this. Why didn't I do this months ago, gentlemen? What was I thinking?
I tried to explain it to you once.
No, you didn't listen. You didn't listen, Ralph. Okay. Mexican. This headline: the Trump administration does not want the caravan of Central American migrants to enter the U.S., but members of the caravan are also facing a growing backlash in Mexico, according to a new survey. A poll released Sunday by El Universal, one of Mexico's biggest newspapers, found 7 in 10 Mexicans have a negative view about the arrival of migrant families, with more than half, 52%, supporting blocking them from entering the country without legal documents, and 55% supporting tougher measures on future caravans. I think we saw that in Tijuana last week. They're not exactly thrilled to have these people here, are they?
I ran out of popcorn yesterday watching Like, that could be a new tourist attraction, just the Americans sitting up on the top of the wall. Like, have a picnic up there, you know?
Sell tickets, but what would we call it, though? We have to have some type of Disneyland.
Bring bags of Doritos just to, like, throw salt in the wounds.
Sell drinks, sit up there. We had to create some type of tourist spectacle. Maybe we can wear sombreros while we sit on top of the border or something like
Now
that.
you gotta play that song, "Living in America."
From Rocky.
That's where we're living. How about you?
What about you, Gators? And have you been following this? By the way, we have like a bunch of migrant stories after this, but this is the one I led off with. What have you guys been following it this weekend? Or?
Let's not police the language. Don't call them migrants. Call them invaders now.
Yes, I agree with that.
They are invaders. Ryan's right about that. Yeah, I watched.
They're not dreamers? You mean they're not dreamers? These people throwing rocks and like. Did you see the lady that impaled herself?
Yeah, I did.
I did. That's actually pulled up as
Oh,
well.
she's a mother of 2 children. Then why doesn't she just go the legal way? Why is she climbing over a wall that's under reconstruction and then impaled herself on rhubarb?
Yes, since you brought that up, I might as well. A mother was impaled in front of her young children while trying to climb over the border fence near the San Ysidro, California port of entry. On Friday, San Diego Sector Border Patrol agents found a 26-year-old Guatemalan woman who had fallen from the fence after trying to enter the country with her children. After falling from the fence, the woman landed on a reinforcing bar, which pierced through her side and buttocks. So they got stabbed in the ass, basically.
The butt hurt is real.
Yes. I mean, are we supposed to feel sympathy? I mean, she was trying to illegally enter our country, and she got stabbed in the ass. I mean, that's.
I feel bad for her kids, but you can see her degenerate mother. They're like, hey, kids, instead of going to an entry point, which is perfectly legal, and trying to migrate to another country, let's just jump over the wall. We're entitled.
Now, what do you think would have happened if she had tried to sneak into Israel like that? Do you think pierced ass would probably be the least of her worries?
If you even got near any of the borders in Israel, you'd get shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. You'd be dead.
I mean, you get shot in Israel when you're not trying to enter. They'll shoot you. They'll come bomb your house when you're minding your own business. Shit, she's not of the right ethnic category, so a bulldozer could come smash her house and she could get replaced by the self-proclaimed chosen race of God.
All right. What about you? Sorry, I was reading something off screen too. What are you up to with this, Zidane Gator? What do you think about the migrant crisis on the border? Excuse me, the invader crisis. You're right. I'm using their language. Go ahead.
I'm glad we fucking shot tear gas at them and pepper sprayed them away. They were pelting them with pepper. What is it? Those pepper bullets that they do to Antifa, and these fuckers just ran and scattered. Also, Mexico. They instantly deported about 100 from this morning. There was no trial, nothing. They just were like, you gotta get the fuck out, and they just got rid of them. Why can't we do that?
Build the fucking wall! I can't say it enough. Build the fucking wall.
I say build the catapults.
Yes.
That's the method of deportation shouldn't be on a plane. It should be like a giant spoon. And
Just flip them right out. All right, let me. There are some videos here. I'm just gonna go ahead and play them instead of like waiting. I figure you guys have probably seen most of this footage anyway, but I'm gonna play it for the. Oh wait, maybe I will share this one because this one's pretty good. MSNBC reporter shows them up. Let me share this link with you guys. Here it is on the sidebar. Go ahead and pull it up. I'm going to play it. Let's see, right now.
Because some people look at these images and they listen to the president who says it's not stone cold criminals. So my first question is, you're in that tent camp. Besides that family, give us the profile of who is there mostly and what are they looking for? Because it seems as though, to your point, they don't actually have the necessary information so they know how to cross the border. There could be people yesterday who were running because they thought it was their only chance.
Right, and it's very difficult because this has become such a polarizing issue. If we kind of take a walk, you'll be able to see for yourself. Again, this is the inner sanctum of the shelter. So you're going to see a lot of families here, a lot of women and children. But the truth is, the majority of the people that are part of this caravan, especially outside, if we can make our way all the way over there, we'll show you the majority of them are men. So
wait a minute. The majority of them are men? Wait, we weren't told this, Zidane Gator. Wait, what? This can't be right. It can't be majority men. These are women and small children. They just want a place to stay. All right, 56 seconds. How would I get to?
This becomes a polarized political issue in the United States. You have people on one side that point and say there are women and children here, and then there are others who point and say these are men that are trying to cross the border, and that's true too. From what we've seen, the majority are actually men, and some of these men have not articulated that need for asylum. Instead, they have talked about going to the United States for a better life and to find work. But if we come this way here,
they're looking for white women.
Leave. This is where there's a food bank that's set up, and you've got a long line of men. Earlier, we saw about 500-600 men standing in line waiting for food, and it looks like that's dwindled down. But this is the outskirts, and we're going to pass through here. I'm going to show you where there are some police officers, and this is the outer perimeter. This is where we're starting to see a large portion of police that are forming up on each side of the caravan. So this is the outskirts over there. Way down by those trees, there are police, many police in riot gear, and we don't know if they are here to actually protect the migrants, which is another thing that we've heard, because there are people here in Tijuana that want these migrants to leave, or they are here because they may make some sort of incursion into the shelter and try to remove.
All right. By the way, I liked how that last frame there was one woman, one child, flanked by like fucking 15 men just walking through there. That was a pretty nice touch. I see chat saying this man no longer has a job now.
No, he got fired so quick. Completely obliterated the narrative that MSNBC was trying to spin. Because every time you see a picture, even the picture that the AP used, it was that one woman dragging those two kids along, and they always try to show kids. Because
she's probably the one that impaled herself.
You know what's so fucking funny about that picture is every single outlet has cropped that picture, because if you actually zoom out of that picture and see the full thing, there's like 50 fucking photographers surrounding those people, and you can see them like directing people to move in and out of the frame. It was a staged photo.
Yeah, I actually have that on my Twitter. Let me pull this up really quick. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up in a window where you can see the whole picture. Let me make it a little smaller. Another scene transition. I'm getting used to it, Gator. I'm getting used to it.
I'm surprised that MSNPC leaked one through.
Yeah, one of them got through. Now here's a cameraman. Here's a cameraman setting up his shot, like telling them all to get. He's clearly told them to get there. It's just ridiculous. And here's some fat bitch with, I don't even know, like a 3-year-old shirt on. I don't know if that's part of the plan there. But tight-fitting clothes. Might wanna switch it up. All right, another video from the. By the way, we're gonna talk about the YouTube St. Jude thing here next, because that shit is mind-boggling. But let me go ahead and play this video.
Gente desesperada con gritos lograron derribar una valla. En este momento van varios migrantes tratando de ingresar.
Literally trying to break through the border.
Oh, están tirando balas de humo, balas de humo.
Why are they firing on them? It's a caravan of peace.
La ilusión de los migrantes al sur de la frontera se topó con la realidad del lado.
Let's see, another video. I'm just gonna play them. They're pretty short, so I'm just gonna play them all through. Look, throwing rocks and bottles. Let's see. A couple more. Again, they're pretty short.
Trump needs to take all of these videos and make them into campaign ads for the wall.
Well, you saw what Goose made for the intro. Like, it writes itself. I mean, the shit. Like,
do you think some of these reporters that went down there from MSNBC and the Clinton News Network, like, do you think they were delusional at first? I mean, like, these are just dreamers, and these young kids that are escaping literally Hitler or whatever. When they got down there and they see like 2 kids and 500 guys, if their bubble got popped, they're like, wow, what all those Republicans is that people were saying it's a bunch of middle, fighting age males coming. Do You think it finally dawned on him, like, it is like that, but I got to do my job, so let me crop this photo and start directing these people to get out of the background and stuff. They have to know it's fake news. Like, if they're sitting there orchestrating the narrative they want, they have to realize, wow, there really aren't that many kids here or whatever. So you think they ever believed it?
Well, it seemed like that guy maybe at least kind of woke up, or at least felt like telling the truth for once. Now look at this freeze frame here. I can't see a woman or a child in this entire frame. These are all men trying to break through the border.
Yeah. But it
reminds me of these reporters that went to Sweden to spin the migrant crisis as a positive thing, and as they're filming, got attacked by migrants.
All right, there's one oh wait, that's the Dwight Howard story. We're not there yet. That's the migrant thing in a nutshell. I actually think this is good. These type of scenes from the border. Even more middle of the road people see this. Like, you can't just let people break through your fucking border and just pour through. Like, who do they exactly think that they are? I mean, just think about all the legal immigrants that have waited in lines, sometimes waited years. And these people think they can just literally force their way through the wall or whatever. It's not really a wall.
They're already illegally in Mexico, and they went over a wall to get into Mexico. So they already reached several walls.
Actually, there was another news article where these migrants are talking about it. A lot of them are going back to Honduras because they're like, the media lied to us. They said it was going to be easy to get into America, and we're getting rejected at the border with tear gas and shit.
Well, and they're lucky it's only tear gas, because like we were talking about earlier, most borders in the world, if you try this, you'd probably get shot. At least, Israel and several others. Try to crack into Saudi Arabia like that. I don't think you'd be too long for this planet.
Well, to be clear about Israel, that's not an equivalency at all. They're shooting people at the border who are not trying to cross. Israel's on the offense.
That's true too. But, I'm just saying, for example,
well, I like what Japan does when Chinese people try to come over.
What do they do?
They just put them in prison. They don't send them back. Like, you're eating fish heads and you're sitting in a jail cell.
Oh, fish head. Have you ever had a fish head?
It's not
Nope.
good.
It's not good. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had one. That's what I'm asking.
There's a reason almost even Japan cuts them off. Like, nobody eats They'll eat anything, man. They'll eat anything raw, too. They'll eat raw horse, raw fish, raw whatever, but jawline and eyeballs.
All right, so we're gonna take some calls. Zidane Gator, if you could throw out the link in the chat, we will take some calls here shortly. Let me read these super chats, catch back up. Albanian Man says, "Hey, yo, fellas, 2 questions. Favorite Joe Star, and have you ever seen Legend of the Galactic Heroes? I've actually never seen either one of those." Zidane and Gator, if you have an answer, you can go ahead and give one.
Joseph, all day, every day. And I've seen a little of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
I'm gonna go with the vampire. JoJo Star, I guess. I've only read the manga. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I didn't know that was in English yet, even.
What about
it's
you?
It's an old show, old cartoon.
What about
Joseph?
Okay.
It's all, yeah. He's the best character.
I'm lost. I'm not gonna lie. I'll just have to let you guys feel that one. Lord of Kira says, "Hi, I'm Ethan Ralph." Lord of Kira says, "Hi, I'm Ethan Ralph. Press 1 in the chat if you want me to make a TikTok and duet every single one of Boogie 1488's videos. Also, I'm already Tracer." I'm not gonna do that, but thank you for the thought. Eddie Cade says, "Let's start this motherfucker up. God damn it, I need my kill stream fixed. I've been jonesing since Saturday. As always, fuck this faggot ass dick and the booty callers. Chat always fucking wins. Motherfucker, fuck you." Alright. Alexi Luther says, "Please cover video for Celine Dion's child clothing line called Celine New. We actually covered that. He says the people behind it are merchants. We actually covered that. Was it last week or week before last that we covered that?
I think it was the week before last when it first came out.
Yeah, we definitely did cover that, though. I'll try to find the episode later, but good
The
thought.
TLDR, for everybody that doesn't know, is she basically created a line of paused clothing, gender neutral for babies, and the commercial was one of the most repugnant things I think I've ever seen.
Oh, now you have to say the SJW word. They're not babies, they're babies.
Oh, God.
That's a thing.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Cook in a bucket. Babies. I just call them it. We already have a neutral pronoun. It's called it.
Humanity was a mistake.
All right, let's see. A couple more. Mine 1001 says, by the way, do you know someone paid $500 for Brett Favre to say that, right? I did not know that, but that makes sense.
He doesn't need the money. He's a fucking millionaire. He just did it.
he believed it, I think. Purple Paladino says, daily reminder that there has been no going back for decades. An unchecked Supreme Court has forced federal laws on key issues, and, quote, conservative representatives will never represent you for fear of name-calling. Civil War 2.0 is the only, and it says C. I'm imagining he means conclusion. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Is he referring to the War of Northern Aggression? I never heard of a civil war.
Yeah. Fellow son of the South here. What do you think, though? Are we headed? We talked about this a little bit on Coach Red Pill's stream last night. Do you think that we are headed, unavoidably toward another civil war?
I think it would be more of a class war than a geography war. I mean, if you look at it, it's basically rural versus urban. Because even in blue states, most of the state is red. It's just these city centers that they bribe votes. I mean, they're the party of, we'll promise you free shit. That's how they get votes. And you see people vote along those lines for self-interest, not national interest. They're like, well, this is the one that's going to increase my welfare, or this is the one that's going to give me more freebies, my Gibbs. And that's what they're voting about. They don't give a damn about foreign policy or the national debt or healthcare or any of that. They just want their stuff.
Now, let's see. Aquiorn says, congrats on the transition, Ralph. Stunning and brave. Yes, thank you. Eddie Cade says, not trying to dox myself, but I know Brett personally. Deanna, his wife, is a friend of the family, and I convinced him to take the offensive coordinator job at Oak Grove. Brett is woke on many issues, especially after a case of Bud Light. Wow, a little insider information.
Hey, get him to watch War by Deception. That would be awesome.
Dirty D disagrees, says they're using the wrong gas at the border. Deathwatch says, why the fuck is the U.S. giving these invaders any aid? If I see them dying on the ground, I certainly would not choose to help them in any way. Let them die from their own actions. Chuck Fink says, we need a double feature in Knoxville. Worski versus Tonka and Dickie Spencer versus Dawson. Perfect lead in there. What exactly happened with you and Mr. Spencer, Ron?
Oh, I went on. I was supposed to be on this show, by the way, but I went on Heel Stream because I don't know what happened here, I
was really drunk. I don't know if you messaged me that night or not, but yeah, I got a little too drunk on election night.
I was saying we should send Brett Favre a couple more cases if you have someone around and be like, there's glass windows at Madonic, The gas chamber's got a window. Like, let's see how far we can get him to go.
So
I went on Heel Stream.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I don't know why I go on these white nationalist shows, but I feel like a lot of their audience is reachable still, But we're supposed to be covering the midterm elections between Republicans and Democrats. And Spencer came on. He was just LARPing about we should just run white nationalist candidates even if we only get 1% of the vote and blah, blah, blah. And I was asked to behave like many times, because I don't like Richard Spencer at all. And he was on and I wasn't saying anything. And then, what's his name, Joaquin or whatever, the guy that hosts.
Yes, Joaquin.
What do you think about that? I'm like, it's stupid. So I said something like, well, I don't agree at all. And I gave it I said, kind of my 4-part plan on curbing the invasion or migrant crisis is ending all these wars for Israel, because if we hadn't toppled Gaddafi in Libya, invaded Iraq and Syria, etc., there wouldn't be all these refugees in Europe. And then I also said, if you don't put sugar on the floor, you won't get ants. So if you quit giving people free housing and stuff, then they'll quit coming. You don't see them all flooding into Russia or something because they're not going to get handouts, right? And then I said, and also you have to end the practices of predatory lending from the IMF and World Bank that help decimate the third world and create the economic conditions that people are running away from to start with. So if you negotiate your trade policies, you end your predatory lending, you stop going to war for Israel, and you take away the incentive of social programs, migrant crisis is resolved, whether you build a wall or not. And he just said he had no argument. He's like, you sound like a middle-class moron. He went right to 6th grade, right? And it's because I said he was LARPing, because what I said is a real solution. What he said, trying to make like a white-only America, it's just fucking stupid. So he said, "You're a moron. Why don't you put your camera on?" So I put my camera on. I was giving him the bird. He's like, "You're a dork. Comic-Con's that way." And so he just kept acting like a 4-year-old. So I said, "Hey, this dork will kick your white ass." And he's thinking, "What? You're in Japan or Korea, whatever." And I said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I can raise the money to go down to Virginia, take you to an MMA gym, and legally beat the shit out of you." And then none of them had anything to say about that, because I would be like, "You're next. You can do a long fucking tag chain. I'll beat the shit out of all you white nationalists, because they're a bunch of basement-dwelling cunts." Dude.
Now wait, let me ask you,
They can't even show their real names and faces, and they think that's a working solution. The only one that can show his face is Richard Spencer, because he's a trust fund baby and lives off his daddy's money and has no risk. He doesn't care about American jobs, or he's like, "Is that going to solve our demographic problem?" I said, "It's not going to hurt. Closing the border is like step one in that, if that's your goal." But he doesn't give a fuck. I mean, he went to Charlottesville with fucking tiki torches and shit. The only way you could possibly make Antifa look good is to have actual neo-Nazis and Klansmen and stuff out there, which is what they did. They brought these meth head Nazis tattooed with fucking, swastikas and stuff. Klansmen dressed up in their goofy outfits and all. I'm like, you motherfuckers. And now there's a tarp on General Lee because of the antics. I mean, the news, when they can't have a Nazi, they'll invent one. They spray paint swastikas on stuff themselves and then point to it and go, "Oy vey, oy vey." It's like, what you doing, Rabbi? Like 90% of the time, the victims are making the swastikas. So here you had like a platter with an actual neo-Nazi comes out with a tiki torch doing Nazi slogans and salutes and shit. And it's like, thanks, Spencer. Like, all this work we did from the 90s to now, because I was working back in 97, 98, protecting our statues and stuff, really serious in the Civil War. And it all got shit. It just flushed down the toilet in like 10 minutes because of this Unite the Right bullshit. All these people are sitting in jail right now. There's still people in jail right now just for being there. And the media, they just loved it. They're like, "Yeah, fucking Richard Spencer came out there. I heard his name so many times." It's like, but he doesn't get in any trouble because they have a lot of money. And that's how it works. It's like, if you have money, nothing happens. If you don't have money, you sit in a prison cell.
So how would you describe yourself politically?
Libertarian is the quickest route. I mean, I'm a civic nationalist. I am against illegal immigration. And I have a lot of overlap with some of the goals that these people have, but I think like kicking out 40% of the country is fucking ridiculous. And I have no problem living with people. I don't care what color they are or whatever. It's a cultural thing to me. Like, if you don't have the same language, the same culture, same attitude, same work ethic and stuff, there's a reason we have borders. And it's not biology. But it's hard to explain that to people, but yeah, I'd be a libertarian on most issues. I don't have a label that really fits very well. I just say anti-neocon, so more of a negative identity. The main thing I want to do is stop all these wars for Israel, because they're the biggest parasite. That's what causes, if you want to help the economy, $6 trillion was spent on Middle East escapades because of this parasitic piece of shit country that bribes our Congress into invading Iraq. Like, that wasn't a Republican thing. That was a neocon thing. And the neocons are a bunch of Jews. They are. They're a bunch of Zionist Jews. And they created a special office called the OSP that sat there and fabricated information that led to the war in Iraq. And the Zog media ate it up. Everybody heard about weapons of mass destruction, VX gas, and anthrax. Colin Powell goes to the UN with a mock battle of anthrax. His speech is written by Louis Leibovitz, by the way. And he's talking about anthrax. Somebody sends a note that says "Death to America, death to Israel," with anthrax sent to senators like Patrick Leahy, who made the Leahy Amendment, which would end all arms sales to Israel. They tried to kill him. They're the most cancerous, parasitic problem for America is our relationship with Israel. We would not have gone to war in Iraq. We would not have invaded Libya. We would not have a proxy war in Syria. We would not have sanctions on Iran if not for Israel. And if all those things had not happened, there is no migrant crisis in Europe.
Right,
and there isn't, and we would have, and Israel Aid and stuff, the Jewish Council for Racial Equality with Dr. Eddie Freeman and stuff, they're the ones supporting the refugees going to Europe. They'll go to Europe and help them, and they'll shame Europeans. Like, how dare you not take all these third world Hindu in? You must be racist, xenophobic, bigot, literally Hitler if you won't give them a free house.
All right, let me interrupt you. We're gonna take some callers. Chat is actually completely out of control right now. I'm looking over the
I
chat.
bet.
Let me ask you a quick question then.
Hey, a pussy never likes to be called a pussy. But I was like, just if you use that language, like if you don't have an argument, you're just gonna be like, you dork, you fucking, you moron. And be like, okay, get in a ring. They're not gonna fucking do that.
Why do you think it's a problem for them to want to have a white majority nation? I don't think there's a problem. I mean, there's many nations that are majority their race, right? Japan is one. South Korea, China, a bunch of these Asian countries. They're technically
the United States is a colony already, and it's already 40% non-white.
Right.
It's not like Japan was already Japanese. It's always been Japanese. They didn't kick people out. That's how it started. If you want to say in Europe, you should have like Denmark should be full of people from Denmark. Like, no shit. But America is a different situation. But it's not even their land anyway.
The original colonies for America were white, were they not?
So the original people in America aren't white, and the original colonies. You're talking about a couple hundred people. People came to America from a whole bunch of different European nations. I mean, you had Spain, you had the Portuguese, you had the French, you had the English, and you could say, well, they're white, but they're all different cultures. You even had Russia take Alaska. I mean, but it's been a couple centuries of immigration from everywhere. And you can't it's totally unrealistic. This is real world. This isn't like fantasy land. You're not going to remove 40% of the country. And people wouldn't want that. Our economy would be fucking gone. Anyway, you can't just, like, if you want, you can have gentrification, you can have a homeowners association, you can join a club, you can do whatever, you can move back to Europe, but you're not kicking out 40% of the country. It's unrealistic. And we were there to cover the Republican and Democrat midterm elections, not larpy-darp about your, Nazi fantasy land or whatever. It's like...
All right, let me read these. We're gonna take some callers. I have a feeling the call-in segment's gonna be interesting. Let's see. Midnight Lost Child 88 says, "Ask Ryan what he thinks about white genocide agenda." I think we kind of gotta.
I think it's more accurate to call it suicide. I think it's cultural suicide because they're doing it to themselves. Like, Sweden opened its own borders. Merkel opened their own borders in Germany. I would call it cultural suicide. And again, if a lot of these countries didn't engage, like France, they bombed Libya. I mean, they took part in it. They took part in these wars. It's like you're throwing boomerangs. It's your own foreign policy that's come back to bite you in the ass. But they love to start the story in the middle and going, oh my God, we're getting raped and murdered now. I'm like, well, you did a lot of rape and murder first. And these are the consequences. Shut your fucking borders. Like, of course they're going to come up. You're offering them all this free stuff. You cannot have open borders and social welfare at the same time. That is a recipe for disaster, but they seem unable to do anything about it. Like, I think a lot of Europeans are like us. Like, they don't want all these migrants pouring in. But, well, at least the males don't. But, yeah, I don't know, some of these feminists out there, they love it, man. They're just like, yes, please. Like, I'm going to be interviewing Mark Collette in a couple days, and I'm like, what's your time zone? Is that northern Islamabad? Because, the UK is essentially North Pakistan.
Right,
like, they are so cucked to name calling. Like, I'm going to get called xenophobic. Okay, just come in, rape my daughter.
All right, let me get through these. RMF 424 says media cares so much for the children, but has nothing to say about all the kids abducted into trafficking on the way to the border. Excellent point. Despite his username says, does Dan have any insight as to why rice niggers are the only niggers that are of benefit to human society?
I guess it's math skills.
What's a rice nigger? What's that mean?
Asians.
I believe that's Asian.
Is that jungle Asians or proper Asians?
I think just Asians in general.
Yeah, I think so.
East Asia's got the highest IQ, bud. Team Yellow already won the race. I've already changed sides. I'm on Team Yellow. You'd have to have a billion. You'd have to have a billion babies, and Asians would have to stop having kids, and you'd still be behind. It's over. Half the planet's Asian. Deal with it.
All right, let me Electric Boogaloo V2 says, ask Dawson about what he thinks about Spencer's new girlfriend.
I don't care. I thought he was married.
Well, yeah, he's getting divorced. He has anyway, we won't get into that if you don't.
That's nice. I'm glad he found someone who can tolerate him. I bet you. I don't know, but I guarantee he's the bitch in that relationship. She's the boss.
Saxony X says, not a fan of Dickie, but they were doing Charlottesville because they were removing General Lee. Now get back to.
Yeah, it was about General Lee, and what was the result? They renamed the park and put a tarp on General Lee. Why? Because you had to fucking not. The only way that you could make Antifa look good, you had a bunch of piss and shit throwing chimped out communist monkeys who, you don't even have to speculate. When Dickie Spencer wasn't there the next year and only Antifa showed up, what happened? They got beat up and arrested by the cops. All you had to do is not have a pariah toxic Nazi around and they would fucking oven themselves. And the tarp has been removed.
All right,
the tarp's been removed because people like me can sit there and hound the city council all day until we got it changed again.
All right, now I'm gonna get through there's a few more of these. I'll get through them shortly. Let's try the call-in.
Vanna faggot.
Let's try the call-in segment because I have a feeling that this could. And by the way, we're gonna after we do a couple callers, we're gonna talk about the St. Jude thing. Originally, I was gonna lead off with that. We kind of got.
That's the most fucked up thing, man. All that money they took from them and you.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm hearing that, and I've heard from a couple people that they said they haven't actually got refunded from the St. Jude thing yet, and they don't know where that money is. By the way, if you feel like you haven't gotten your refund from the St. Jude thing, please email me